How about a 5-inch velcro back sanding disc holder that allows you to quickly position and get a new disc on there and the holes in the right alignment. Cool. Hey YouTube, it's Lane Cook. How you doing? Hope you're surviving the pandemic okay. There's an upside to quarantine, and it is keeping you home and keeping you in the workshop and looking for things to do. So I've got a new one. Hey YouTube, how you doing? I hope you're surviving the pandemic okay. If there's anything good about it, there's not a lot good about it, it's that we've had more time to spend time by ourselves and thinking up things to do. And one of them that I've thought about how to do is to invent something new. And as far as I can tell, nobody else has done this. It's a takeoff on a different idea about how to store sanding disc. Something really exciting. Here's how it looks. Here's my random orbital sander. It's made by Tech Life. I like them. Nice orange color. Go Vols. I have several of their tools. I really like them. It has a variable speed. I really like this dust collector. It's not a bag. It's got a HEPA filter in it, and it's easy to replace. Here's the problem. It's storing all your discs and accessing them quickly. So what I was using to store my sandpaper disc is this letter file. That's pretty cool, and I'm going to use it for my sheets of sandpaper and my other free discs and stuff like that, organized by size, and I've got, some of them in there. But I saw some stuff on Pinterest and a little bit in YouTube where somebody used a peg system, and where you would put your random orbital sander on the disc, and the Velcro would stick it, and that would be great. And I tried that, but the problem I had was in having the dowels. They're 3/8 inch diameter dowels that I put through plywood. Trying to put it on there was very difficult because I couldn't really quite align it. It was really difficult, and I came up with an idea that I think was unique. So this is a Craftsman tool chest, and I actually got this as a bonus with this rolling cabinet down here. And I think I got the cabinet for $99 at Ace Hardware, and this was free. And I was really not using it effectively, putting some stuff in there, and I came up with this idea of this. So let me show you this. So here are my 5 most commonly used sizes of sanding disc. I've got a 80, 120, 180, 240, and 320. I rarely use the 100 or 150. Rarely use a 60. And what was the unique attribute that I did was when I was trying to make the dowels to where they were easy to put on, I came up with this idea of, well, let's put a point on them, and maybe that'll make it easier to align it. And at first I did 4 of these, and then I realized you really only need 3 to hold it in place, and you increase your chances of getting them on your sander easily by reducing it to 3. So let me demonstrate how it works. So if I want to do a 120, I just put it on there, and voila. Well, that's a dirty one, so you get the idea. It just goes on there real nice. Let's see if I can get a clean one. There we go. Here's my 180. and putting it back on is a piece of cake. That's a slightly used one. So there. And I don't use a ton of these things. I've got, I think the most of them, I've got some 240 grit here. I got 8 of these, and you can use them higher. The nice thing about this is I could actually go up a little bit. It looks like I've got about, oh, I guess another 3/4 inch clearance, so I could have made these higher. And all I had to do was to put this in here, and I didn't even have to glue them in. As you can see, I used 1/2 inch plywood. You only need 1/2 inch, and the dowels go in that way. I didn't even have to glue them in. I just stuck them through and then sawed them off. The reason I didn't do, I started to do 3 on the bottom and 3 on top, but there's a reason that I staggered them this way and did 5 instead, and I'll show you. For the back part, it was kind of a tight fit, and I can reach the back part without having to manipulate this and take the lock out and pull this drawer out because I've got a tight squeeze. Now if you have a different cabinet, you can use something different if you wish. Now let me show you how I made the points on these dowels. So here's the 3/8 inch dowel. I actually thought about going to Lowe's or Home Depot, but I figured out that during this time, during the pandemic, that Michael's had a lot fewer people and almost all of them were wearing masks, so I like that. Problem was that if you use a standard electric pencil sharpener or the kind of cheap pencil sharpeners you see, it won't fit. So fortunately, I have an old-fashioned one. I'll show you. So here's an old manual pencil sharpener. It's made by X-Acto, but you can get whatever you want. And the advantage of this is that you can change the size of the hole all the way up to jumbo size. And the standard one is right there. And the dowel doesn't fit. But if you use the next to largest size, it's a 3/8, and it fits in there, and you sharpen it just to the point to where it gives you this nice little guy. So the reason that I made the sharpened point is when you're trying to stick 3 of the blunted ends in, it's kind of hard to do. One of them's hard to do if you stick 3 at a time or 4 at a time. It's really difficult. With the pointed one, and again, you don't have to make you're not a pencil here, you just go to a certain point. You can use a sander, like a belt sander or a grinder, or even just sandpaper if you wanted to make this if you don't have an old-fashioned pencil sharpener. And sticking this guy in is a whole lot easier. Okay, on my sander I've got 4 screws that hold down the Velcro pad. So let me show you what happens when I take them off. So this is the inside of it, and it may be different for different manufacturers, but what was happening when I was trying to stick my dowel in was sometimes it was hitting this fin here, which is basically the fan that blows the dust into this dust collector here. But sometimes what I was doing was I was sticking it between the vents, and again, and randomly you'll either stick it in a little bit or part way, and that was kind of perplexing. Now the interesting thing about using this pointed end is that it actually moves the fan blade out of the way. So it won't matter if you happen to be sticking it between the blade or on the blade, it's going to move the fan blade out of the way. The other thing that's nice about the pointed end, I'll show you in just a second. Another advantage of having the pointed end is sometimes you only need to find one of these dowels, and it's going to align your head with the rest of it. Now, one other aspect is that although I had some clearance up to the top here of another, I don't know, looks like another ½ inch or so, the height of this is going to be determined by that depth into your particular saw. Into your particular sander. Now, I wanted to see if the particular height I've got will get the very last one. And it did. If you're not a horizontal fan, you could mount this vertically. You could put it on a French cleat wall like I did, or on a pegboard, or you could screw it to the wall of your shop. And it works just as well vertically. You can put your sander on it and pull off a disc just like you can horizontally. So now I have a cabinet that's got sanding disc, sanding sponges and stuff, some cloths, some paper stuff, some micro mesh, and for me a very important pack of Band-Aids. So, thanks for watching. Copy the idea, distribute it, and y'all have fun. Oh, one more thing about this. These gloves in here are polyethylene food handlers gloves. They are cheap, or they used to be before the coronavirus came in. Now they've jacked up the prices. They're still pretty cheap. They're very flimsy, but one advantage of them, super glue or CA glue will not stick to them. Latex gloves and the nitrile gloves, the super glue will stick to it, so if you do some wood turning or you're paring wood and you're using super glue, this is the best stuff to use. Thought I'd let you know. So I hope you enjoyed that. Go and make something. Wear your mask. Protect others. Protect yourself. Stay safe out there. Stay busy. And stay healthy.